Narendra Modi, From Dust to the Summit. A journey of determination, destiny and leadership. A motivational audio biography, written, narrated and published by Sweet Audible. Prologue. The son of the soil. He was born in a small, dusty town called Vadnagar in the western state of Gujarat. A town of narrow lanes, modest homes and hardworking families. Among them lived a little boy who spent his early years helping his father sell tea at the local railway station. Few noticed him then. He was one among many, barefoot, curious and silent. But behind those watchful eyes burned a strange determination. He wanted to know why some lives spark with greatness while others fade unnoticed. That boy was Narendra Damodardas Modi. His story would become one of India's most extraordinary journeys, from a tea seller's son to a global leader commanding respect on the world stage. His rise would inspire millions and divide opinions. But no one could deny one thing: Narendra Modi changed the shape and spirit of modern India. Chapter 1. Childhood in Vadnagar. There are some stories that begin not in palaces or cities, but in the silent corners of dusty towns. Stories where the first sound is not the cry of power, but the whistle of a passing train. Narendra Modi's story begins in such a place, Vadnagar, a small town in Gujarat, where the rhythm of life was simple, slow and honest. The year was 1950. India was still young, still learning to stand after centuries of colonial rule. Hope was high, resources were scarce, and dreams were often bigger than the means to achieve them. Amid this newborn nation, a boy was born to a humble family, Damodardas Modi and Hiraben Modi. They were not people of wealth or status. They were ordinary Indians, the kind that built the foundation of the country with sweat and silence. Their home was modest, made of mud walls and simple faith. There was no electricity, no luxury, only love, discipline and the unspoken strength of togetherness. Hiraben would wake before sunrise, light the small oil lamp and begin her day. She believed that every act of work, no matter how small, was a form of worship. That belief would become the silent inheritance she passed on to her son. Narendra was the third of 6 children. From an early age, he showed a different kind of curiosity. While other children played, he would often watch people, studying their words, their gestures, their emotions. He loved listening to stories from his mother about saints and kings, about courage and sacrifice. Those tales lit the first spark of inspiration in his young heart. But life in Vadnagar was not easy. The family lived hand to mouth. His father, Damodardas, ran a small tea stall near the railway station. The smell of boiling tea leaves and the hiss of the kettle were the sounds that filled Narendra's mornings. He would wake early, help his father serve cups of tea to passengers and then rush to school. It was a life of modest means but rich lessons. He learnt the dignity of labor and the importance of being self-reliant. In the evenings, when the day's work was done, he would sit near the lamp and study. Education to him was not a duty. It was a window to the world. He loved reading about leaders who changed the course of history. He admired Swami Vivekananda, whose words about youth and service to the nation resonated deeply with him. In those growing years, the young boy of Vadnagar began forming a silent belief that poverty may limit your resources, but it cannot limit your dreams. At school, he wasn't the most talkative, But his teachers remembered him for his sharp memory and disciplined nature. He was known for taking charge in small activities, organizing plays, helping teachers, volunteering at events. The seeds of leadership were already there, waiting for the right season to grow. But what shaped him even more was the culture of selfless service that surrounded his small town. Festivals were not just about celebration, they were moments of collective effort. People cleaned streets together, built temporary temples, and helped neighbors without expecting anything in return. Narendra participated with unmatched enthusiasm. He loved being part of something larger than himself. He was also fascinated by India's spiritual traditions. At the age of 8, he came into contact with the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh for the first time. The discipline, the early morning drills, the saffron flag fluttering in the wind, it all intrigued him. It gave direction to his restless energy. But even before he would join the organization formally, Modi's personal habits reflected the same discipline. He would rise before dawn, complete his chores, and never waste a moment. His mother often said, Narendra never needed to be told twice. Once he understood what was right, he did it with full heart. In the backdrop of these small routines, the young boy's personality was forming. Strong, silent, determined. Life tested him often. The family's financial struggles meant there was no room for comfort. But he never complained. Instead, he turned challenges into fuel. He learned the art of resilience, not from books, but from daily life. When the tea shop saw fewer customers, he would still smile. When the summers grew unbearable, he would still serve. When others took shortcuts, he preferred the longer, honest road. That mindset of doing what's right, not what's easy, became the core of who he was. As he grew older, Narendra began exploring beyond Vadnagar. He traveled to nearby villages, met monks, listened to people's stories, and absorbed India's diversity. Each journey added to his understanding of human nature and struggle. There was also a phase of quiet rebellion, not against people, but against limitation itself. He wanted to test how far a small town boy could go if he lived with purpose. At 17, he made a decision that would surprise his family. He left home. Some say it was to seek spiritual understanding. Others say it was his inner call to discover life beyond boundaries. For 2 years, he traveled across India, from the Himalayas to the ashrams of the south. He lived simply, often alone, sometimes in silence. Those years gave him what no classroom could: clarity of thought and strength of will. When he finally returned to Gujarat, he was not the same boy who had left. He carried with him a quiet fire, a sense of mission. He didn't know yet what path he would take, but he knew it would be a path of purpose. From that point on, Narendra Modi was no longer just the son of a tea seller. He was a seeker of service, of meaning, of greatness through contribution. Looking back, it's easy to see how every small moment in Vadnagar shaped the man he became. The early mornings at the tea stall taught him humility. The stories from his mother taught him compassion. The drills of the RSS taught him discipline, and the struggles of his youth taught him perseverance. He had no money, no power, and no godfather. What he had was belief, a fierce, unshakable belief that no circumstance is stronger than human will. From the dusty lanes of Vadnagar began a journey that would one day reach the grand corridors of power. But at that time, it was still a dream, fragile, distant, but alive. The boy who once served tea to travelers had just begun his own long journey, one that would take him far beyond the borders of Gujarat to the world stage. And that journey was only beginning.
Sweet, Audible.
Chapter 2. The RSS Path. There comes a moment in every young life when the ordinary begins to feel too small, when the walls of routine start to press inward, and something deep within whispers, "There is more you are meant to do." For Narendra Modi, that whisper came early. By the time he returned to Vadnagar after his quiet spiritual wanderings, the world around him had changed, but not as much as the world within him. He had seen temples in the north and ashrams in the south, met strangers who shared stories of struggle and faith, and felt the vastness of India in his bones. He came home with a deeper understanding of what it meant to belong to something greater than oneself. But belonging was not enough. He wanted to contribute. The early 1970s in India were years of political unrest and ideological struggle. Poverty, unemployment, and the fading optimism of independence had created restlessness. For a young man filled with purpose and discipline, this was not a time to sit idle. It was a time to act. That's when Narendra Modi's connection with the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh (RSS) deepened. He had seen the organization as a child, admired its morning drills and sense of order. Now he wanted to be a part of it, not just as an observer, but as a committed worker. The RSS was more than a political movement. It was, and remains, a vast network of volunteers dedicated to national service and character building. Every morning at dawn, men and boys gathered in open grounds, wearing simple khaki shorts, white shirts, and carrying sticks called dandas. They would pray, exercise, and learn lessons on discipline, culture, and nationhood. Narendra joined them with quiet determination. For him, the RSS Shakha became a temple of purpose. The early hours of physical training, the chanting of patriotic songs, the discussions about self-reliance, all of it filled him with a new kind of energy. He wasn't chasing fame or money, he was chasing meaning. The RSS valued humility above all else. Tasks were small but symbolic. Cleaning the ground, organizing food, visiting families, helping in community service. These were not chores, they were character lessons. Narendra took each one seriously. His seniors noticed his punctuality, his attention to detail, and his ability to work without complaint. He was never the loudest voice in the room, but he was always the one who finished what he started. As months turned into years, his responsibilities grew. He began organizing shakhas in nearby villages, coordinating volunteers, and even training others. His communication style was direct and clear. People felt he didn't just talk about ideals, he lived them. During this period, Modi also began to develop a unique sense of leadership. Unlike many who sought recognition, he preferred to stay invisible, focusing on results rather than applause. His guiding principle was simple: work hard in silence, let your work speak. Life as an RSS worker was demanding. There were no salaries, no comforts. It required complete dedication, often traveling from place to place with nothing but a small bag of essentials. But this suited him perfectly. Having grown up with little, he had no attachment to comfort. What others called hardship, he called discipline. Through these experiences, Modi began to understand the pulse of ordinary India, its villages, its families, its struggles, and its strengths. He saw that the heart of the nation did not beat in its cities, but in its small towns and rural communities. This understanding would later become one of his greatest political strengths, the ability to connect with the common person, to speak their language, to feel their pain. But for now, he was still learning, absorbing, preparing. In the early 1970s, India entered a turbulent phase. There were protests against corruption and economic hardship. The youth were disillusioned. Political instability was growing. When the emergency was declared in 1975 by then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, democracy itself came under threat. For the RSS, this was a call to action. Many of its members went underground to organize resistance, spread awareness, and protect those being silenced. Narendra Modi was among them. Though still young, he showed remarkable courage and organizational skill. He helped distribute pamphlets, coordinate safe houses, and maintain communication channels for leaders who were hiding. Those were dangerous times. Many were arrested and dissent was punished. But Modi's calmness under pressure impressed his seniors. He moved quietly, worked efficiently, and never let fear dictate his actions. The emergency ended in 1977 and India's democracy was restored. For Modi, this period had been more than political. It was transformational. He had seen power abused and freedom threatened, and it reinforced his belief that true service meant standing firm when others faltered. As the country began to rebuild its political order, the RSS decided to strengthen its political wing, the Bharatiya Janata Party, BJP. It would carry the organization's ideals into the democratic arena. The BJP needed disciplined, organized, and dependable workers. Once again, eyes turned toward Narendra Modi. By the early 1980s, he had earned a reputation as one of the RSS's most dedicated pracharaks, a full-time volunteer with no family attachments, living a life of purpose and service. When the call came to assist the BJP in Gujarat, he accepted it without hesitation. This was not a leap into politics driven by ambition. It was a natural evolution of service. He saw politics not as a ladder of power, but as a platform to reach more people, to implement the values he had lived by: discipline, efficiency, and dedication to the nation. Before taking on his new role, he met his mentors in the RSS, men who had guided him since his youth. Their advice was simple: never forget the ground you stand on. Power is not an achievement, it's a responsibility. Modi carried those words with him, etched deep into his mind. The years in the RSS had prepared him for everything that lay ahead. They had taught him leadership without authority, service without recognition, and courage without noise. They had also taught him that true transformation begins from within, in thought, in conduct, in purpose. As he stepped into the world of politics, Narendra Modi carried no wealth, no connections, no privileges. What he carried instead were the invisible assets of discipline, empathy, and self-belief. He had walked barefoot across the villages of Gujarat, eaten with the poor, listened to the voices that were often ignored. He understood not just the geography of India, but its soul. The world outside saw a young man entering politics, but those who knew him saw something deeper, a man entering his calling. The discipline of the RSS had shaped him. The struggles of the emergency had steeled him. And now the platform of politics would test him. The boy from Vadnagar was about to take his next step, one that would begin to reveal the leader within. The journey from a pracharak to a politician had begun, and once again he would rise, quietly, methodically, and with unwavering faith in the power of purpose. Chapter 3. The Political Step. For many, politics is a destination. For Narendra Modi, it was merely a path, a continuation of service through a different medium. After years of discipline and devotion as a pracharak in the RSS, Modi had become known within the organization for one rare combination: silence and strategy. He could listen patiently, observe deeply, and act decisively. These were the qualities that soon caught the attention of leaders within the Bharatiya Janata Party, the BJP, which was then finding its feet as a national alternative to the Congress. The late 1970s and early 1980s were years of turbulence in Indian politics. The emergency had left scars on the democratic fabric, and there was a hunger for new leadership. Leaders who were not bound by dynasty or privilege, but driven by ideology and integrity. In Gujarat, the RSS and BJP needed organizers who could connect the ideological with the practical, the grassroots with the governance. Narendra Modi was that bridge. His transition from the RSS to the BJP was not sudden. It was gradual, organic, as if destiny itself was preparing him for a larger canvas. The RSS, with its discipline and nationalist spirit, had shaped his foundation. The BJP, with its democratic structure and political outreach, became his stage. At first, Modi worked behind the scenes, organizing meetings, managing logistics, planning outreach programs. He was meticulous. Every speech, every rally, every campaign had to be timed perfectly. His attention to detail was legendary even then. He could remember faces, recall minute details of constituencies, and understand the pulse of people from every walk of life. He believed politics was not about slogans, but about systems, not about manipulation, but about management. His early years in the BJP taught him one of the hardest lessons, that leadership often means working unseen. While others sought limelight, Modi was content in the shadows, ensuring that the machinery of the party ran smoothly. He wasn't yet the orator who would one day captivate millions. He was the organizer who built the platform for others to speak upon. But his passion and dedication didn't go unnoticed. Senior leaders like L.K. Advani and Murli Manohar Joshi saw in Modi a rare ability, a balance of ideology and execution. When others debated what should be done, Modi was already doing it. He was often sent to handle difficult regions, to mend broken alliances, to energize demoralized cadres, and every time he succeeded. The defining test came in the late 1980s during the movement that sought to redefine the cultural and political narrative of India, the Ram Janmabhoomi movement. It was a time of emotional intensity across the nation. As the BJP expanded its presence, Modi became one of the key organizers, ensuring that the campaigns were disciplined and effective. His work in Gujarat stood out. The rallies were well managed, volunteers were motivated, and the party's message reached even the smallest villages. He had mastered the art of connecting ideology with implementation. To him, politics wasn't about power, it was about purpose. When he looked at a crowd, he didn't just see numbers, he saw stories. Each face represented a dream, a struggle, a hope. and he wanted to be the bridge between those hopes and the system that could fulfill them. By the early 1990s, Modi's reputation as a strategist had spread beyond Gujarat. He became known for his sharp organizational sense and tireless work ethic. He could travel hundreds of kilometers in a single day, meeting local workers, motivating them, and ensuring that no task remained undone. His days began before sunrise and often ended past midnight. Yet he never appeared fatigued. His energy came from conviction. It was around this time that the BJP began to transform from a small party into a national force. In Gujarat, Modi played a critical role in expanding its base. He designed outreach campaigns that blended modern communication techniques with traditional grassroots methods. He understood that people connected not just through policies, but through emotions. His strategy was simple: listen more, promise less, deliver fully. In 1990, when L.K. Advani embarked on the historic Rath Yatra, a nationwide campaign that galvanized millions, Modi was among the key organizers, ensuring the smooth passage of the movement through Gujarat. The discipline, safety, and order he maintained impressed everyone. It was clear now that he was not just an organizer, he was a leader in the making. But with recognition came resistance. In politics, growth often invites jealousy. Some questioned his rapid rise. Others doubted his ability to connect with masses beyond organizational circles. Modi's response was silence and work. He believed in what his father once embodied, that results speak louder than words. In 1995, the BJP came to power in Gujarat for the first time. For Modi, it was a moment of quiet satisfaction, not for himself, but for the movement he had served for decades. However, he remained away from the limelight, focusing on strategy and organizational structure. His vision extended beyond elections. He dreamt of governance that was efficient, accountable, and corruption-free, a government that would not just rule, but serve. By the late 1990s, Modi had become the face of political strategy in Gujarat. His mastery of communication, his understanding of regional aspirations, and his unwavering dedication made him indispensable. Yet, he was not yet a public figure. He had no constituency, no office, no media attention. But those who knew him understood it was only a matter of time. Politics, like nature, rewards patience. When the winds of change blew across Gujarat in the early 2000s, destiny called Narendra Modi to step out of the shadows. The years of quiet preparation were about to culminate in one defining opportunity, one that would test every value he had lived by. He was no longer the young pracharak serving tea to travelers, nor the organizer moving unseen in the crowd. He was a man on the verge of leadership, about to step into a world where every decision would be judged, every word would be dissected, and every act would echo across a nation. The boy from Vadnagar had taken his first true political step, and the world was about to witness the rise of a leader whose journey would redefine modern India. Chapter 4. The Trial by Fire. Life has a way of testing those who are prepared, and Narendra Modi's rise to power was no exception. By 2001, he had spent decades in the shadows, organizing, observing, and mastering the art of leadership. He had learnt patience, discipline, and the subtle skill of connecting with people. But the test ahead would not be of planning or strategy alone. It would be of character, endurance, and resilience. In October of that year, Gujarat faced an unexpected crisis. Kesubhai Patel, the sitting chief minister, resigned due to internal party conflicts and declining public confidence. The BJP needed a leader who could stabilize the state, restore discipline, and energize the party. Narendra Modi's name surfaced as the most capable, though unconventional choice. At just 51, with no prior electoral experience, he was asked to step into one of the most demanding political offices in India. Becoming chief minister was a moment of immense opportunity, but also profound responsibility. Gujarat was a state of contrasts. On one hand, it had thriving industries and entrepreneurial spirit. On the other, it had rural poverty, social tensions, and political instability. Modi understood immediately that leadership here required more than charisma. It demanded vision, focus, and an unwavering commitment to results. He began by setting a clear agenda. Development would be his mission. He focused on infrastructure, power supply, and attracting investment, laying the foundation for what would later be called the Gujarat model. Roads were repaired, electricity restored, and industrial policies streamlined. But he also focused on governance, ensuring that administration functioned efficiently, that public grievances were addressed promptly, and that corruption was minimized wherever possible. Yet, no leader can rise without facing challenges that test their very soul. For Narendra Modi, the defining crisis came in February 2002. The burning of a train coach in Godhra carrying Hindu pilgrims sparked widespread communal violence across the state. What followed were days of unprecedented unrest, fear, and sorrow. Hundreds lost their lives, communities were disrupted, and the eyes of the nation turned to Gujarat. The tragedy placed Modi at the epicenter of controversy. Critics questioned the state government's response, while supporters argued that his administration had done its best under extraordinary circumstances. The period was politically and emotionally charged, a time when decisions could either define or destroy a leader. For Modi, it was a trial that would test his resolve in ways he had never experienced before. Throughout this crisis, Modi remained steadfast. His approach was measured and deliberate. He recognized that leadership meant balancing law and order with the need for healing, governance with sensitivity, and action with reflection. He convened officials, monitored the situation closely, and made critical decisions about deployment of resources. At the same time, he remained aware of the long-term implications, that every choice would be scrutinized not just locally, but nationally and internationally. The aftermath of 2002 was a period of immense political and personal scrutiny. Investigations, debates, and controversies followed. Yet, in the midst of this, Narendra Modi's focus on development never wavered. He understood that leadership required vision beyond immediate crises. While managing the political storm, he continued initiatives to improve infrastructure, promote education, and empower the people of Gujarat. This period also revealed another dimension of his leadership: resilience. The ability to absorb criticism, withstand political pressure, and emerge stronger is a trait few leaders possess. Modi had honed this skill during his early years as a pracharak and party organizer, but the challenges of governing a state in crisis tested it like never before. He learned that leadership is not about popularity or comfort. It is about courage under pressure and commitment to purpose. It was also a time when Modi refined his understanding of politics as a combination of perception and performance. He recognized that public trust is fragile and must be earned consistently through visible action and results. He learned to communicate not only policies but also principles, blending efficiency with the moral authority of integrity. His ability to connect with ordinary citizens, to be present in their lives even amidst controversy, became one of his defining strengths. By 2003, Gujarat began to show signs of recovery. Development projects accelerated, industries began to thrive, and the public administration functioned more smoothly than before. Modi's approach combined pragmatism with ideology, blending efficient governance with a vision of progress rooted in local pride and national identity. He was no longer just a party organizer or a young pracharak. He had become a leader capable of managing complexity, adversity, and expectation simultaneously. The lessons of this period would stay with him for life. He had learnt that leadership is tested in crises, that controversy can be a crucible for growth, and that vision must remain constant even when circumstances seem chaotic. The combination of discipline, decisiveness, and perseverance became his signature style, one that would later define his tenure as Prime Minister of India. Through these years, Modi's public image began to shift. While his critics questioned him, the business community and development-minded citizens began to see him as a man of results, someone who could translate ideas into action. He became known not just for speeches or promises, but for delivery. Gujarat was becoming a model for governance, a laboratory where policies were tested, refined, and executed efficiently. By the end of this chapter in his life, Narendra Modi had transformed. From a dedicated RSS worker and organizational strategist, he had become a chief minister with the weight of a state on his shoulders. He had faced unprecedented crisis, navigated political controversies, and maintained a singular focus on development and governance. These experiences did more than shape his career, they shaped his character. The trial by fire had forged a leader capable of confronting adversity without losing direction. He had learned that challenges, no matter how intense, were opportunities to grow, to inspire, and to prove that resilience and vision are more powerful than circumstance. As the years unfolded, this combination of discipline, determination, and strategic thinking would propel Narendra Modi onto an even larger stage, the national and global arena, where his journey from Vadnagar to the corridors of power would continue. The boy who once served tea, the organizer who worked in silence, had become a leader ready to take the next step, a step that would change not only Gujarat but the entire destiny of India. Chapter 5. From Godhra to Global Attention. Leadership is often revealed not in comfort but in crisis. Narendra Modi's journey as Chief Minister of Gujarat was a testament to this truth. By 2002, he had assumed office with a vision to modernize his state, improve governance, and build a model of development that could inspire the nation. But events soon tested not just his administrative skills, but the very essence of his character. On February 27, 2002, a train carrying Hindu pilgrims was set ablaze at Godhra railway station. The attack claimed the lives of 59 passengers. The news sent shockwaves across Gujarat and India. What followed were days of intense communal tension, unrest, and widespread violence. It was a moment that would place Narendra Modi at the center of both scrutiny and history. For any leader, the weight of such a crisis is immense. Decisions are measured not just in policy, but in human lives. Modi's approach combined decisiveness with caution. Law enforcement, public safety, and administrative oversight became his immediate priorities. At the same time, he faced the unenviable task of maintaining public trust amid conflicting narratives, political pressure, and intense media scrutiny. The events of 2002 remain deeply etched in India's collective memory. While some criticize the government for its handling of the situation, others recognized the extraordinary challenges of governing a state in turmoil. Throughout this period, Modi displayed a calm, disciplined approach, ensuring that administrative machinery functioned even under pressure. He convened frequent meetings, monitored the ground situation, and sought to restore order wherever possible. This chapter of his life tested more than governance. It tested resilience, courage, and the ability to withstand national and international attention. Reports, debates, and inquiries followed. Modi's decisions were dissected in parliaments, newspapers, and public forums. Yet, through the storm, he maintained focus on governance, ensuring that development initiatives did not stall, that public administration continued, and that the machinery of the state remained functional. In the aftermath, Modi also learned the profound importance of perception in leadership. Facts alone do not define public opinion. Narrative does. He began to understand the need to communicate clearly, consistently, and empathetically without compromising on principles. The lessons were harsh but invaluable. A leader's credibility depends as much on action as on the perception of action. Amid controversy, Modi's administration pushed forward with economic and social development. Infrastructure projects, industrial growth, and welfare programs continued. Electricity reached villages, roads were modernized, and investment opportunities expanded. These efforts gradually reshaped Gujarat's image both within India and internationally. The state began to be seen as a laboratory of development, where innovation and efficiency could coexist with tradition and culture. It was during these years that Modi's leadership style became clearly recognizable. He combined meticulous planning with tireless work ethic. He traveled extensively, often visiting remote areas to ensure that projects were progressing. He engaged with communities directly, listening to their concerns and measuring their satisfaction. His philosophy was straightforward. Governance is not about appearances, it is about delivery. At the same time, the experience reinforced another truth, that leadership in a democracy requires both strength and empathy. A leader must act decisively in moments of crisis, but must also maintain moral authority and fairness. Modi learned to navigate these dual responsibilities, balancing firmness with reflection and vision with pragmatism. This period also positioned Modi on the national and international stage. As media coverage intensified and debates multiplied, he became a figure whose actions were closely observed far beyond Gujarat. The scrutiny was unprecedented, but it provided him with a unique platform. He realized that effective leadership required not just local efficiency, but national vision and the ability to inspire confidence across diverse audiences. By 2005 and 2006, the focus gradually shifted from crisis management to long-term development. Modi's policies emphasized industrialization, investment, and urban infrastructure, while simultaneously addressing rural concerns through employment schemes and social programs. Gujarat's economy began to grow rapidly, and the state became known for innovation, entrepreneurship, and governance efficiency. Through it all, Modi's personal discipline remained unchanged. His daily routine continued to be rigorous, starting with early morning meditation, followed by hours of meetings, inspections, and planning sessions. He believed that a leader's energy and focus must be constant, regardless of circumstance. It was this consistency, combined with his strategic mindset, that enabled him to rebuild trust and establish a reputation for efficiency and results. The experience of 2002 and its aftermath also shaped Modi's philosophy of leadership on a larger scale. He understood that national progress requires both moral clarity and strategic execution. Development, he realized, cannot be achieved solely through policy. It must be implemented relentlessly, monitored continuously, and communicated effectively. By the late 2000s, Gujarat was being described not only as a model of industrial growth, but as a testament to disciplined governance. Modi's leadership had transformed perceptions, from a leader under controversy to a leader defined by action, planning, and results. He had shown that crises, no matter how intense, could be navigated through vision, resilience, and determination. These years also prepared him for the national stage. The skills he honed, crisis management, strategic planning, communication, and organizational discipline, would become essential as he prepared to enter the broader arena of Indian politics. He had learnt the delicate art of balancing action with perception, firmness with empathy, and ideology with pragmatism. By the end of this chapter in his life, Narendra Modi had emerged as a figure of national attention. He was no longer a state-level administrator. He was a leader whose vision, discipline, and results were increasingly recognized across India and abroad. The journey from Vadnagar to Gandhinagar had tested him in ways unimaginable. From the quiet discipline of RSS Shakhas to the intense scrutiny of a state in turmoil, he had navigated challenges that would define the next stage of his life. The nation watched, the world observed, and Narendra Modi, tempered by crisis and driven by purpose, was ready to step onto the national stage, to move from the governance of one state to the destiny of an entire country. Chapter 6: The Architect of Development. Leadership is measured not only in moments of crisis, but in the vision and execution that follow. For Narendra Modi, the years after 2002 were a period of extraordinary focus and transformation. Gujarat had survived a storm of unrest, and the task ahead was to rebuild, strengthen, and redefine the state. A challenge that Modi embraced with a disciplined determination that had been forged in the lanes of Vadnagar and the shakhas of the RSS. He understood that governance is not about rhetoric, it is about results. The first priority was infrastructure, the lifeblood of any economy. Roads were repaired and extended, ports and airports modernized, and power supply stabilized to support industries and rural communities alike. Each initiative was carefully planned, meticulously executed, and continuously monitored. Modi's approach was simple: identify bottlenecks, remove obstacles, and ensure that progress reached the ground level, not just the headlines. Alongside infrastructure, Modi placed significant emphasis on economic development and investment. He realized that growth required not only government support, but also private enterprise and international cooperation. To achieve this, he initiated the Vibrant Gujarat Summit, a bold experiment in governance and economic outreach. The event was designed to bring investors, entrepreneurs, and policymakers together under one roof, creating an ecosystem where vision met opportunity. Vibrant Gujarat quickly became more than an investment summit. It became a symbol of Modi's governance philosophy. The message was clear: development is inclusive, results-oriented, and driven by efficiency. The summits showcased the potential of Gujarat as a destination for business and innovation, while highlighting the state's commitment to transparent administration and policy stability. They became a platform for dialogue between government, industry, and civil society, a model that would later inspire national programs. Education and social development were also critical pillars of his vision. Modi understood that economic growth alone is not enough. Human development is essential. Schools were upgraded, healthcare programs expanded, and initiatives aimed at empowering women and marginalized communities were launched. Modi emphasized skill development, vocational training, and entrepreneurship, creating pathways for citizens to participate actively in the economy. What distinguished Modi's approach was the seamless integration of governance, communication, and execution. Every initiative, whether rural electrification or industrial investment, was accompanied by clear timelines, accountability measures, and continuous oversight. He often personally visited project sites, meeting local officials, citizens, and entrepreneurs to ensure that promises translated into reality. This hands-on approach earned him recognition not only within Gujarat but also across India. During these years, Modi's personal discipline remained extraordinary. His day often began before sunrise with meditation, exercise, and planning. Meetings, inspections, and administrative reviews filled his schedule from dawn to dusk. Weekends were rare, vacations almost non-existent. Yet, through this relentless focus, he maintained clarity, decisiveness, and an unwavering commitment to results. Observers noted that his energy and resilience were unmatched, a reflection of decades of self-discipline and purpose-driven work. Modi also understood the importance of public perception and communication. While results were the foundation of his leadership, articulating achievements and building trust were equally critical. Regular interaction with the press, public addresses, and community engagement were woven into governance itself. He projected a leadership style that was accessible, disciplined, and accountable, qualities that strengthened his credibility among citizens and investors alike. By 2007, Gujarat had transformed. Infrastructure projects, industrial zones, and social programs had revitalized the state. The Gujarat model of development became widely recognized as an example of how disciplined governance, effective policy, and visionary leadership could produce tangible results. It was a model that combined economic growth with social responsibility, balancing the interests of industry, government, and citizenry. This period also solidified Modi's national profile. His ability to manage large-scale initiatives, attract investment, and execute policies efficiently drew attention from across India. Political analysts began to recognize his potential not only as a state leader but as a figure capable of contributing to national governance. His disciplined approach, combined with a keen sense of strategy, positioned him as a leader who could translate vision into measurable outcomes. At the same time, Modi's leadership style emphasized accountability and performance. He believed that public office is a responsibility, not a privilege. Ministers, officials, and civil servants were expected to deliver results. Inefficiency and complacency were not tolerated. Citizens were engaged not only as beneficiaries but also as participants in governance, fostering transparency and inclusion. The success of vibrant Gujarat and the visible transformation of the state set the stage for Modi's emergence as a national figure. Political observers noted that his blend of administrative efficiency, strategic communication, and vision-oriented leadership was rare in Indian politics. By demonstrating that governance could be disciplined, effective, and results-driven, he challenged conventional notions of leadership in the country. More importantly, these years demonstrated Modi's ability to learn from experience. The controversies and challenges of 2002 had left an indelible mark. They reinforced the importance of meticulous planning, risk assessment, and the delicate balance between decisiveness and empathy. In governance, he realized foresight and preparation are as vital as courage and execution. By the end of this chapter in his life, Narendra Modi had become more than a chief minister. He was a strategist, an innovator, and a builder of systems that produced tangible outcomes. He had demonstrated that leadership is a combination of vision, discipline, execution, and public trust. Gujarat had become a laboratory of governance, a stage where the lessons of decades of personal discipline and ideological commitment were translated into real-world results. The journey from Vadnagar to Gandhinagar was now complete in one sense. The boy who had once served tea to travelers had become a leader whose ideas and policies were shaping the future of an entire state. And yet, the horizon was broader. India itself awaited leaders capable of translating vision into action, of combining discipline with empathy, and of transforming challenges into opportunities. Narendra Modi was ready to step onto that larger stage, to take his lessons, his discipline, and his vision to the nation. Chapter 7: The Road to Delhi. Leadership is rarely confined to a single office, a single city, or a single constituency. For Narendra Modi, the years spent transforming Gujarat had become a proving ground, not only for governance, but for national ambition. By the late 2000s, his work had begun to attract attention far beyond the borders of the state he governed. The boy from Vadnagar, who once served tea at a railway station, had emerged as a figure of national consequence. Modi's reputation was built on a foundation of results. Roads, ports, and power projects had changed the physical landscape of Gujarat. Social welfare programs and educational initiatives had touched the lives of millions. Investment summits like Vibrant Gujarat had positioned the state as a hub for industry and innovation. Yet, what distinguished him was not just these accomplishments, but the way he delivered them, with discipline, personal accountability, and a constant focus on outcomes. Across India, both citizens and political observers began to recognize a rare combination: vision matched with execution. The Bharatiya Janata Party, which had nurtured Modi during his years as a pracharak and organizer, now began to see him as a leader capable of guiding the nation. Within the party, discussions shifted from Gujarat's development to the possibility of projecting him onto the national stage. He had demonstrated that he could handle crises, implement ambitious policies, and maintain public trust, all while navigating intense scrutiny. These qualities made him not just a chief minister, but a potential prime minister candidate. Yet, Modi's approach to national prominence was deliberate and strategic. He did not rush into the limelight. He understood that political influence required preparation, alliances, and timing. Just as he had learnt in the RSS and BJP's organizational circles, success on a larger stage demanded patience, observation, and meticulous planning. Every decision, every public engagement, every speech was calculated to strengthen credibility, build trust, and reinforce his vision of disciplined, results-driven governance. During this period, Modi also honed the art of communication. He recognized that national leadership requires not only policy expertise, but the ability to connect emotionally with citizens across diverse regions. He began addressing larger audiences, articulating his vision for India in a way that combined pragmatism with inspiration. His speeches emphasized efficiency, development, self-reliance, and national pride, themes that resonated deeply with a population seeking competent governance. The global media and international observers too began to notice him. India's emerging economy, combined with Gujarat's industrial growth, presented a case study in modern governance. Investors, foreign diplomats, and policy analysts followed Modi's initiatives closely, viewing Gujarat as an example of what disciplined, visionary leadership could achieve. For Modi, this international attention was not a goal, but a consequence, a reflection of the effectiveness of his governance. Political reality, however, is rarely simple. Modi's rise to national prominence was accompanied by both support and criticism. While many praised Gujarat's development, controversies from earlier periods continued to generate debate. For a leader, scrutiny is inseparable from prominence. Modi learned that public perception, media narratives, and political opposition must be managed strategically without compromising principles. Discipline, consistency, and focus remained his tools for navigating these challenges. By the late 2000s, Modi's role within the BJP evolved from state strategist to national figure. Party leaders increasingly relied on him for guidance on national campaigns, strategy, and voter outreach. His understanding of grassroots networks, combined with his ability to communicate a coherent vision, made him indispensable. The BJP's organizational machinery began to reflect his influence, more disciplined, more results-oriented, and more strategically focused. At the same time, Modi maintained his personal ethos. His daily routines continue to reflect discipline, focus, and dedication. Early mornings began with meditation and planning. Long hours were spent analyzing policy, monitoring governance initiatives, and engaging with party workers. Even as national attention grew, he maintained a personal commitment to hard work, humility, and accountability, qualities that had defined his journey from Vadnagar to Gandhinagar. It was during this period that Modi's vision of India began to crystallize. He saw a nation with immense potential, yet constrained by inefficiencies, corruption, and fragmented governance. He believed that leadership requires not only ambition, but a capacity to inspire collective effort. His Gujarat experience had taught him that disciplined governance combined with strategic vision could produce tangible results. The challenge was to scale this model from one state to the entire country. Modi also recognized the power of connectivity. In a vast, diverse nation like India, a leader must reach citizens across language, culture, and geography. He began refining strategies for communication, integrating media, public engagement, and outreach to create a coherent narrative of leadership and development. His goal was to bridge the gap between policy and perception, between governance and citizen trust. By 2010, the stage was set. Narendra Modi was no longer just the Chief Minister of Gujarat. He had become a symbol of disciplined, results-oriented leadership. His name was associated with development, decisiveness, and strategic thinking. The BJP saw in him the potential to galvanize the nation, to present a vision of governance that combined efficiency with ambition. The journey from Vadnagar to Gandhinagar had prepared him for this moment. The boy who once served tea, the organizer who worked quietly behind the scenes, and the leader who navigated crisis with calm determination was ready to step into the national arena. The lessons of decades, discipline, resilience, strategy, and empathy had culminated in a leader poised to guide not just a state, but an entire nation. The transition from state leadership to national prominence is never instantaneous. It requires vision, credibility, and relentless effort. Modi had all three. He had proven that results, integrity, and disciplined governance could overcome adversity and skepticism. The nation watching, the party was mobilizing, and Narendra Modi, tempered by experience and guided by purpose, was preparing to take the next decisive step, a step that would lead him to the highest office in India. Chapter 8. The Prime Ministerial Journey begins. Leadership, when tested in one arena, often finds itself drawn to a larger stage. For Narendra Modi, the journey from Gujarat to the national political spotlight was the culmination of decades of discipline, strategy, and perseverance. By 2013, India was seeking leadership that could blend vision with execution, a figure capable of bridging ambition with results and aspiration with action. Modi had become that figure. His years as Chief Minister had already created a narrative of transformation. Gujarat's infrastructure, industrial growth, and social programs stood as tangible proof of disciplined governance. Yet, national politics required more than a record of state-level success. It required the ability to inspire millions across a diverse and vast nation, to connect with a range of communities, and to present a coherent vision for India's future. The Bharatiya Janata Party recognized these qualities and began positioning Modi as the party's prime ministerial candidate for the 2014 general elections. This was a strategic choice, one rooted not in personal ambition alone, but in the recognition of his ability to organize, communicate, and deliver results. The BJP sought a leader who could unify disparate regional bases, articulate a national vision, and inspire both the party's cadre and the electorate. Modi's preparation for this stage was meticulous. Every aspect of the campaign, from messaging to outreach, was planned with precision. He understood that in a country as diverse as India, leadership required not only policies but a narrative that could resonate emotionally across languages, cultures, and socio-economic backgrounds. His speeches emphasized development, transparency, governance, and national pride, themes that bridged ideological divides and appealed to aspirations across the population. Technology and media became essential tools in this campaign. Modi's team harnessed social media, digital platforms, and traditional media to create a continuous dialogue with citizens. The campaign was data-driven and strategically targeted, yet it retained a personal touch. Modi spoke directly to the people, travelled extensively, and maintained a visible presence in both rural and urban India. His style combined clarity, discipline, and an ability to inspire confidence in ordinary citizens. The campaign was unprecedented in scale. Narendra Modi addressed millions of people through rallies, meetings, and media broadcasts. Yet his focus remained on substance over spectacle. He emphasized policies, governance models, and development initiatives. While opponents debated ideology and controversies, Modi's message centered on the promise of efficient, accountable, and results-oriented leadership. His approach also reflected a deep understanding of human psychology. Modi recognized that citizens, when empowered with information and a vision, could become active participants in the democratic process. He engaged with communities directly, listened to their concerns, and projected a narrative of inclusivity, that India's progress depended on collective effort, discipline, and participation. By the time the election campaign reached its climax in 2014, Narendra Modi had become more than a politician. He had become a symbol of change, a figure associated with determination, competence, and vision. The nation watched closely, observing the culmination of decades of personal discipline, organizational skill, and strategic thinking. Election day arrived as a test of public trust. India, a country of over 1 billion people, chose its leaders through one of the largest democratic exercises in the world. Narendra Modi's message of development, transparency, and governance resonated widely. Citizens from all walks of life responded to the vision he articulated, a vision of an India that was modern, efficient, and globally competitive, yet rooted in its values and identity. When the results were announced, the magnitude of the victory was historic. Narendra Modi became the 14th Prime Minister of India, leading a government with an overwhelming mandate. It was a moment of profound significance, both personally and nationally. For Modi, it was the realization of a journey that had begun in the narrow lanes of Vadnagar, had been tested in Gujarat's political and administrative arenas, and had finally reached the highest office in the country. Yet, for Modi, this achievement was not merely a reward, it was a responsibility. The Prime Ministership demanded vision, decisiveness, and the capacity to navigate challenges at a scale never before encountered. He understood that leadership of 1 billion people required both strategic thinking and emotional intelligence, both decisiveness and empathy, both pragmatism and inspiration. The early months of his tenure were focused on reform, governance, and outreach. Modi prioritized initiatives that would stimulate economic growth, improve infrastructure, streamline bureaucracy, and enhance public welfare. Programs such as Digital India, Make in India, and Swachh Bharat reflected his philosophy. Development must be visible, actionable, and inclusive. The aim was to transform the nation through efficiency, accountability, and the mobilization of collective effort. Internationally, Modi's leadership began to attract attention. Diplomatic engagements, trade partnerships, and global forums recognized India's emerging influence under a decisive, results-oriented Prime Minister. He traveled extensively, projecting India's aspirations on the world stage, while simultaneously emphasizing domestic reforms and citizen-centric governance. Through it all, Modi maintained the traits that had defined his life: discipline, focus, and relentless energy. His days began before sunrise with meditation and planning. His schedule was filled with policy reviews, project inspections, and interactions with citizens and officials. He believed that leadership required constant engagement, personal accountability, and an unwavering commitment to results. The journey from Vadnagar's tea stall to the Prime Minister's office was more than a personal achievement. It was a narrative of perseverance, vision, and discipline. Narendra Modi's life had been shaped by early hardship, ideological training, and relentless effort. His rise to national leadership was a reflection of decades of preparation, experience, and strategic foresight. By 2014, India had elected a Prime Minister who embodied both the spirit of change and the capacity for execution. Narendra Modi's story was now entwined with the story of the nation. A journey that began in a small town, was tempered by trials and controversies, and was propelled forward by vision, discipline, and unwavering commitment to service. The Prime Ministerial journey was not an endpoint, but a beginning. The challenges of leading a billion people, shaping policy, and navigating global complexities awaited. Yet, as he had demonstrated throughout his life, Narendra Modi approached every challenge with the same principles that had guided him since childhood: discipline, purpose, resilience, and a relentless focus on delivering results. The stage was set. India watched, the world observed, and Narendra Modi, shaped by a lifetime of experience, was ready to lead.
Sweet, audible.
Chapter 9: Consecutive Mandates and National Leadership. Leadership on a national scale is a test of vision, endurance, and adaptability. When Narendra Modi assumed office as India's 14th Prime Minister in 2014, he carried not just the hopes of millions, but the responsibility of guiding a nation through a complex landscape of opportunities and challenges. His first term was marked by ambitious initiatives, decisive policies, and a relentless focus on efficiency. A continuation of the discipline and vision that had defined his entire life journey. One of Modi's early priorities was economic reform and governance efficiency. Recognizing the need for a more transparent, accountable, and citizen-friendly administration, he initiated measures to simplify bureaucracy, improve public service delivery, and encourage digital connectivity. Programs such as Digital India and Jan Dhan Yojana sought to bridge gaps between government and citizens, making essential services accessible to millions across urban and rural India. These initiatives reflected Modi's philosophy: governance must be proactive, measurable, and inclusive. Simultaneously, Modi emphasized infrastructure and industrial growth. His vision for Make in India aimed to transform India into a global manufacturing hub, attracting investment, generating employment, and enhancing innovation. Urban development projects, highways, ports, and renewable energy programs expanded rapidly, creating tangible evidence of progress. Modi's approach was pragmatic. He understood that development is not merely a promise, but a measurable outcome that can change lives and build public confidence. Beyond the economy, Modi focused on social welfare and nation-building initiatives. Swachh Bharat, the nationwide cleanliness campaign, emphasized civic responsibility, public health, and community engagement. Efforts to improve sanitation, rural electrification, and housing underscored his commitment to improving living conditions for the most marginalized. Education and skill development were given new momentum, recognizing that human capital is central to national progress. Each program was implemented with detailed monitoring, accountability measures, and widespread outreach, reinforcing the ethos of disciplined governance. Modi's leadership style was characterized by direct engagement with citizens and a results-oriented approach. He traveled extensively, visited remote areas, and interacted with communities directly. Whether inaugurating a bridge, attending a public event, or meeting local entrepreneurs, Modi ensured that governance was visible and accessible. His presence conveyed a message that leadership is not abstract, it is action, presence, and accountability. Nationally, Modi's policies and leadership style began to reshape public perception. Citizens recognized a prime minister who combined decisive action with clear communication, a leader who articulated vision, implemented initiatives, and consistently measured results. This approach built trust and established credibility, turning governance into a narrative of measurable outcomes rather than rhetoric alone. Internationally, Modi's first term elevated India's global profile. Diplomatic engagement, trade partnerships, and strategic alliances strengthened India's position on the world stage. Modi projected India as a nation capable of progress, efficiency, and global collaboration. His foreign visits emphasized economic diplomacy, technology partnerships, and strategic dialogue, reflecting a modern, confident India engaging with the world. The success of Modi's first term culminated in the 2019 general elections, where the nation reaffirmed its trust in his leadership. The BJP, under his guidance, secured a historic mandate, reflecting public approval of policies, governance, and vision. The consecutive mandate was not merely a political victory, it was a validation of decades of preparation, discipline, and leadership. It demonstrated that a leader who combines vision with execution can inspire confidence across a diverse, democratic, and complex nation. During his second term, Modi continued to pursue reforms with boldness and clarity. Economic policies such as GST, financial inclusion initiatives, and programs to attract investment reflected his commitment to structural reform. Simultaneously, initiatives focused on public welfare, education, infrastructure, and digital transformation reinforced his philosophy that development must touch every citizen's life. His leadership style remained consistent, strategic, disciplined, and results-oriented. These years also highlighted Modi's ability to manage complexity. India, with its diversity, regional challenges, and global positioning, required a leader capable of balancing competing priorities. Modi's governance blended pragmatism with vision, ensuring that policy decisions were both forward-looking and grounded in practical execution. His approach emphasized accountability, meticulous planning, and the integration of citizen needs into decision-making processes. The consecutive mandates established Modi as a transformative figure in Indian politics. He became recognized not only for policies and programs, but for a leadership style defined by vision, discipline, and the relentless pursuit of results. Citizens saw a prime minister who understood the importance of both action and perception, strategy and empathy, policy and delivery. This balance became a hallmark of his national leadership. By the end of this chapter, Narendra Modi had achieved a rare distinction: consecutive mandates, visible development, and a reputation for decisive, disciplined governance. His journey from Vadnagar's narrow streets to the highest office in India demonstrated a singular truth: that consistent discipline, vision, and focus can transform not only an individual's life, but the destiny of an entire nation. The story of Narendra Modi, however, was far from complete. Leadership at this scale is an ongoing journey. Each initiative, each reform, each global engagement added layers of experience and insight. The Prime Ministership was both a culmination and a beginning, a platform from which he could continue to inspire, implement, and lead. Through trials, controversies, victories, and achievements, Modi's life journey reflected a consistent principle. Vision without execution is meaningless. Discipline without purpose is incomplete. Leadership without service is hollow. These lessons, nurtured from his childhood, refined through RSS and party organization, tested in Gujarat and validated nationally, now defined a leader at the center of a billion-strong democracy. The consecutive mandates were not just electoral victories. They were a testament to a life of perseverance, preparation, and purpose. Narendra Modi's story had evolved from a young boy observing his father at a tea stall, to a disciplined pracharak, to a chief minister transforming a state, and finally to a prime minister shaping the destiny of India. It was a journey of unwavering determination, strategic vision, and relentless commitment to service. Chapter 10: The Global Stage and Legacy. Leadership, when nurtured over decades, eventually transcends borders. For Narendra Modi, the journey from Vadnagar's narrow streets to India's prime ministership had already been extraordinary. But as he stepped onto the global stage, the scope of responsibility and opportunity expanded, requiring vision, diplomacy, and a nuanced understanding of the world. By the late 2010s, Modi was no longer only a national leader. He had become a figure observed by millions internationally, a representative of a nation that was asserting its place in the modern world. From the earliest days of his prime ministership, Modi understood that India's global image must reflect both progress and purpose. He actively engaged with world leaders, participated in international forums, and pursued strategic partnerships to strengthen trade, technology, and diplomacy. His visits to major economies, multilateral summits, and neighboring nations were marked not by ceremonial formality alone, but by the pursuit of tangible outcomes, agreements, collaborations, and investment that could benefit India and its citizens. Yet, while global attention grew, Modi's guiding principle remained rooted in the values that had shaped his life: discipline, dedication, and results-oriented action. He approached each interaction, each negotiation, and each international initiative with meticulous preparation. He understood that leadership on a global scale required not only national insight, but also awareness of global trends, economic dynamics, and strategic diplomacy. Every decision, every speech, every engagement carried consequences not just for India, but for its position in the world. Under his leadership, India pursued economic modernization, technological innovation, and sustainable development, projecting itself as a partner for growth, stability, and cooperation. Initiatives such as Make in India, Digital India, and infrastructure investment resonated with global investors and policymakers, demonstrating that disciplined governance could produce both domestic and international confidence. Modi's approach was consistent. Vision without execution is hollow, and diplomacy without clear purpose is ineffective. International forums, from the United Nations to G20 summits, became platforms for Modi to present India's narrative, a nation rooted in heritage yet embracing modernity and innovation. His speeches often combined pragmatism with inspiration, reflecting a leader who understood the balance between national interest and global responsibility. Citizens at home and observers abroad noted his ability to communicate with clarity, authority, and empathy, qualities that had been honed through decades of grassroots engagement and governance experience. Simultaneously, Modi continued to focus on domestic priorities. Programs like Swachh Bharat, rural electrification, digital infrastructure, and social welfare remained central to his leadership philosophy. He understood that a nation's global credibility depends on its domestic strength, efficiency, and social cohesion. In essence, the international stage was an extension of the governance model he had perfected in Gujarat and at the national level. Disciplined planning, accountable execution, and visible results. The global attention also offered a new dimension to leadership: legacy. Modi's journey from a modest background in Vadnagar to a globally recognized figure reflected not only personal determination, but also the transformative potential of leadership grounded in service, discipline, and vision. His life story became an example for aspiring leaders, a testament to the principle that resilience, preparation, and commitment can overcome circumstances, skepticism, and obstacles. At the same time, he remained mindful of the responsibilities that come with visibility. Leadership on a global scale is not merely about recognition or influence. It is about shaping the environment for positive change. Modi's foreign engagements emphasized collaboration, sustainable development, and shared prosperity. He sought partnerships that could deliver tangible benefits, whether through investment, technology transfer, or knowledge sharing. His approach reflected a balance between national interest and global cooperation, demonstrating the principle that leadership is most effective when it is both principled and pragmatic. The legacy of Narendra Modi is therefore multifaceted. It encompasses personal perseverance, the journey from childhood challenges to the highest office, organizational mastery shaped through decades in RSS and BJP, transformative governance exemplified by Gujarat and national initiatives, and global engagement reflecting the responsibilities of leadership in an interconnected world. Across each stage, the defining threads remain consistent: discipline, focus, resilience, and a relentless pursuit of meaningful results. As an inspirational figure, Modi's life resonates because it combines humble beginnings with extraordinary achievement, personal discipline with public service, and vision with execution. From serving tea at a railway stall to presiding over one of the world's largest democracies, his story demonstrates that leadership is built through continuous learning, unwavering commitment, and the courage to navigate both opportunity and adversity. Even as India's international presence has expanded under his leadership, Modi has remained deeply connected to the ethos of his journey: a commitment to service, to building institutions, and to delivering tangible improvements in people's lives. This continuity between childhood lessons, organizational discipline, governance, and global leadership is what makes his story not only remarkable but instructive for generations to come. In reflection, the journey of Narendra Modi illustrates a universal principle: that leadership is less about position and more about preparation, less about title and more about service, less about recognition and more about results. Each stage of his life, from Vadnagar to Gujarat, from crisis to development, from national to global leadership, reinforces the idea that vision combined with discipline can reshape destinies, both personal and collective. The boy from a small town who learned humility, observation, and perseverance in early life became a chief minister who redefined governance in a state. He then transformed into a prime minister whose policies, decisions, and vision have impacted a nation of over 1 billion people. And finally, he emerged on the global stage as a leader whose influence, ideas, and approach to governance are observed and respected worldwide. Narendra Modi's journey is above all a story of human potential realized through focus, resilience, and unwavering commitment to purpose. It is a journey that continues, inspiring millions within India and beyond, a story that reflects the transformative power of disciplined leadership, the courage to embrace challenges, and the vision to turn possibilities into realities. Epilogue: The Silent March. Every life has a rhythm, a journey that unfolds quietly, steadily, often unnoticed by the world until the results become undeniable. For Narendra Modi, the path from a small town in Gujarat to the helm of one of the largest democracies in the world was never loud or glamorous in its beginnings. It was a journey marked by discipline, patience, and a relentless focus on purpose. A silent march that would eventually capture national and global attention. The phrase "silent march" perfectly encapsulates the essence of Modi's life. From his early days, he moved with quiet determination, observing, learning, and preparing. Each small task, serving tea, helping his father, walking through the lanes of Vadnagar, participating in RSS Shakhas, was a step in a long journey of preparation. There were no shortcuts, no instant rewards, no headline celebrating effort alone. Yet, in these formative years, the foundations were laid: resilience, humility, focus, and an unwavering commitment to duty. This march continued through his organizational work with the RSS and later the BJP. He spent years behind the scenes, building networks, learning strategy, and understanding people. Every assignment, whether it involved small-scale coordination or statewide campaign management, was approached with meticulous attention. Each success and setback was absorbed as a lesson. For a young observer of history, it might have appeared ordinary, routine even, but in truth, it was the shaping of a leader, one who understood that greatness often begins quietly, away from the spotlight. The leap to Chief Ministership of Gujarat marked the first public stage of this march. The challenges were immense: social unrest, political controversies, and the weight of governance over millions. Yet, Modi's approach remained consistent. He acted decisively, focused on results, and persisted through scrutiny and criticism. His work in Gujarat, infrastructure development, investment summits, social programs reflected the quiet accumulation of years of preparation. Each initiative was a note in a symphony of governance, performed not for applause but for tangible improvement in the lives of citizens. Even as his visibility grew nationally, Modi's leadership retained the character of the silent march. His rise to prime ministership was the product of strategic patience, disciplined effort, and consistent delivery. While public attention intensified, his personal approach did not waver. Early mornings, long workdays, constant evaluation of policies, and direct engagement with citizens all reflected the same ethos: action, discipline, and service before recognition. His life is a reminder that true leadership is built on consistent effort, long before it is acknowledged or celebrated. The silent march is also a reflection of vision tempered with persistence. Modi's policies, whether at the state or national level, reflect long-term thinking. Development is not instantaneous, and governance is rarely linear. Yet, the quiet determination to follow a vision, to implement plans with discipline, and to adapt strategies based on results has been a defining trait.
It is this commitment to continuous forward movement, even amid challenges, that differentiates a leader from a manager, a visionary from a planner.
Beyond politics and policy, the Silent March is a lesson in personal resilience and inner discipline. Modi's life illustrates that leadership begins with self-mastery, control over habits, focus on purpose, and a dedication to continuous improvement. Meditation, reading, personal reflection, and unwavering work ethic have been constants throughout his life. These elements, invisible to the casual observer, form the backbone of a life capable of extraordinary achievement. The march continues, not in public ceremonies, but in the daily rituals of commitment and discipline. As Modi's influence extended globally, the Silent March took on a new meaning. Leadership on a global stage requires not only visibility, but the ability to act with foresight, responsibility, and integrity. Decisions affect millions of lives, shape national image, and impact global relationships. The quiet habits, disciplined preparation, and relentless focus that defined his early journey became essential in this arena. What had begun in the streets of Vadnagar now guided policy, diplomacy, and global engagement. Yet perhaps the most profound lesson of the Silent March is its inspiration for others. Narendra Modi's journey demonstrates that extraordinary achievement is rarely instantaneous. It is the product of years of preparation, learning, and persistence. It teaches that humility, patience, and focus are not weaknesses, but the quiet engines of long-term success. The march is silent because it is consistent, invisible because it is rooted in discipline, and effective because it is sustained. Reflecting on this journey, one realizes that the narrative of life is often less about spectacle and more about steady progress. The achievements, recognition, and milestones may be celebrated publicly, but the essence of leadership lies in the countless unseen steps that make them possible. Modi's life reminds us that preparation, perseverance, and purpose are more powerful than luck or circumstance. Greatness is rarely sudden, it is cumulative, built through small, consistent acts of discipline and vision. As the world continues to watch and as India continues to evolve, the Silent March carries forward. It is a journey without a final destination because leadership itself is an ongoing process. The values of discipline, focus, resilience, and service are not limited to one life stage or one position. They are a lifelong ethos. Modi's march is a living testament that true leadership is forged in patience, humility, and relentless commitment to a greater purpose. In the end, the Silent March is not only the story of Narendra Modi, it is a universal lesson in leadership, resilience, and vision. It tells us that while public attention may be fleeting, the steady accumulation of effort, the quiet execution of plans, and the unwavering pursuit of purpose create enduring impact. From Vadnagar to Gandhinagar, from Gujarat to New Delhi, and from India to the global stage, the Silent March continues. A journey of relentless purpose, unwavering focus, and transformative leadership. Thank you for listening. Narendra Modi, From Dust to the Summit, a motivational audio biography, written, narrated, and published by Sweet Audible.